Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for our product demonstration with Santos Guerrero from Warriors Construction Group. We are very happy to have you here, and this is a really important conversation about mold and how it can be bad for people. So Santos, go ahead and get started. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Um, yes, I decided to talk about mold because I realized that nowadays is getting to the point because I work with the different managements that are having even people is suing managements for mold problems that they think that people is not doing the right thing to take care of the problem. So I decided to first of all I wanna start with that. I'm the owner of Warriors Construction. I started Warriors Construction in 2003, and we do different kind of stuff. Other stuff, not just mold, but also roofing and uh, flooring and painting. And also, I'm a mold inspector. I'm certified water technician, drying technician, and restoration. Because I am certified with all of these, mold and restoration, I decided to talk about the problems that a lot of managers have on their apartments. All of this started that sometimes people have a leak or a pipe break. As you know, it's really popular in the winter that a pipe bursts, and then we have a problem with water. So what I find out with the experience uh, is that a lot of management, they try to dry their own products, they buy a fan, or and they put their own maintenance guys to dry the place rather than calling a professional company to do the drying or the building. And so what happened is most of the time they put a fan, and the next day they come and the place look dry, but it's not really dry inside. They don't remove drywall, they don't remove the wet insulation, they don't remove or they don't have the equipment or the knowledge to really find out with meter readings, um, and the equipment to actually dry a place. You will need dehumidifiers, and depending on the square footage of the room, and all of that has to be taken in consideration to see how much equipment you will need to dry a um, a room. So a lot of times, the managers or the apartments, they want to dry it, and they don't dry it properly, and it looks dry, but behind that drywall is insulation. Behind that insulation are sometimes wood studs, and so it gets there. And 6 months later, guess what happened? We have mold behind that wall, and nobody knows. And then the tenant started smelling this, funny smell, and start complaining. I feel sick, I feel this, I feel that. But you don't actually see the mole because the mole is not present, it's not visible. And it's because it's behind those walls. And the more with time, we'll start finding ways to come out, behind the baseboard, behind. And and so really, mole has been with us forever, uh, and mall, you will find mall everywhere, but a lot of tenants, with all the technology, they read and they find information, and then they get really scared. They think that this is gonna kill them, and mall can be bad, like what I put in my presentation. It can be bad if it's the black mold, if it's the Aspergillus penicillin, that's the white and black mold, can be bad if it's in high numbers in the air. If the airborne in the air is like really heavy and in high quantities, that can be bad. Mm, But really, mold you will find it everywhere. Mold is outside. Mold, it's been with us forever. Like I said, the key is to make sure that a room, when you guys have a leak, um, when a structural or drywall gets wet, it need to be dried properly. It need to be dried with the right equipment, and so to avoid these kind of situations, I'm working with management that was sued by this tenant for $2 million because she's claiming that she got sick because mold in her apartment. So it is something to, you know, take serious, and to avoid this situation. So here at Warriors, we do tests, we do air quality samples, we do the swatch samples. Like I said, I'm a certified mold inspector. We can help you guys when you need find out if there is any mold in any apartment or room. And beside that, we can also help you with the mold remediation. Now, what is the mold remediation? The mold remediation, if we first of all, we do an assessment of the building. We do a visual inspection. Sometimes air sample is not needed because you see it. The mold is present. You can actually see it, and then it's no need for a air sample quality test. But sometimes it is needed, and that's when you smell it something funny, but you don't see anything. There is no black stains on the drywall, and there is nothing there. You just have this funny smell, and then is when you need to proceed with a test with the air sample. And sometimes, like I said, that's behind a wall. You have to remove drywall to actually find the mold behind the drywall or stuff like that. So if you ever need, if you are ever in the situation, and this is to all the managers that may be watching this video, if you ever need help with mold problems, we can help you finding uh, finding out if you have mold, if it's the situation that you don't see it.
Guillermo, tú estás ahorita,
Mm-hmm. See? But, hello?
Go ahead, Santos.
I'm sorry, somebody asked me, but something, but well, I don't know if it's somebody, more people is seeing the video. We can help with mold remediation and testing. If you guys need to find out if you have mold in an apartment or a building, and you know, um, like I said, sometimes it's really hard to know if you have mold. Sometimes you don't see it, and sometimes it's visible. Sometimes it's so bad that you can actually, see the walls. And it is something to have in consideration because a lot of nowadays people have a lot of information and they get scared. They think that mold will, and like I said, mold is everywhere, but in high numbers, it can give you allergies, it can give you other effects. And we're here to help. We can do the air sample quality test, and if we find out that there is, after the assessment, if we find out that there is mold, we will provide a price to do the mold remediation. I don't know if anybody has any questions about what we're talking.
If you have questions, feel free to turn your mic on and ask Santos. I personally can attest to how sick.
Is it an essay you're working on?
For sure. My oldest sister lived in a building that had black mold, and she developed a very bad asthma condition. So it is very serious, and it can make you very, very sick. So I guess I'll just start off. I guess Santos is how you say that sometimes the mold is not visible. Is it when someone gets sick that they, then look into testing the air quality or something like that? Or how do people come to call you to deal with mold if they can't see it?
Well, like I said, sometimes the mold is behind drywall and behind the structure of the building, and this happens. Like I said, the problem of this sometimes happen when something gets wet or there is water water intrusion and nobody knows. Sometimes water comes through the siding, through a window, to somewhere that we don't know, and it's coming in small amounts. And so with time, that water is there, and so the mold is behind the drywall, like they said, in the studs or in the foundation wall. So it will take a long time for that mold to actually appear in the actual, you can see it. And there is when the people don't see it, but they feel it's in the air. For example, let me give you a perfect example. I went to this house the other day, and as soon as I do this all the time, as soon as I walk into a house that has mold, I know it because I can smell it. It's a different smell. It's something different. It's not. So I already know. As soon as I walk in, I smell something, but I didn't see it. And the problem in this house was that in the crawler, they put her AC unit in the crawler space, and the crawler space about 5 feet, and they did a bad job with the insulation. They didn't put a plastic barrier, so all this moisture, all crawler space will have high levels of moisture because it's underground, and so all this moisture and moldy insulation was getting in the AC unit system and was getting sprayed to the rest of the house. So the house, actually, the first floor didn't have visible mold, but it was in the air because the AC unit was spraying it. All the air spores was, and so I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it anywhere, but I can smell it. So when we did the test, the levels were really high in the living room and in the sunroom because we're the ones that insulation have fallen, and it was just bad. And this is a perfect example. You don't see it, but it's there. And in this case, the problem was the AC under the crawl space. Never seen that. It's the first time I see an AC unit under in the crawl space. Most of the time, it's in the attic or somewhere else. But situations like that are the ones that we need to be, looking out for.
Okay. Ollie wants to know, do you work with systems that warn of water leaks to prevent further damage?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Do you work with systems to warn of water leaks to prevent further damage? Or do you install those?
Well, it will be hard because no, I don't have any system that will cannot tell you, or when it's a leak that you don't see it. But the only, if I understand your question, I don't have any technology and I haven't seen it that will tell you when there is a leak. Sometimes there are some valve pressure that will tell you depending on the pressure, and you will find out. But that will be really hard to do. I never work with that. The thing is that we need to be, when you have a leak, when you have an intrusion, water intrusion, whether because of the roof is bad, whether because it's a foundation crack or whatever, or just a pipe broke, or and so we need to. The key is to make sure that the plate will be dried properly. A lot of the time, the problem with mall in apartments complex is that they try to dry it. They buy 2 or 3 fans and they put it, but they haven't been in the school to be certified. And so a lot of time the insurance, when it's a big loss, the insurance, that's what they ask you for diagram on the equipment for all of this, because there is some science, there is science behind a structural drawing. And a lot of people don't understand that. Like, they want to cut corner. They don't want to pay the money. They say, well, if I buy a 1 DQ, 5 fans, and I let my maintenance guy dry it, we're gonna save money. And yeah, they will save money, but they didn't dry that place properly. And so with the time, they will have mold behind us. Well, because it's one thing looking at drywall and a structure that looks dry, but it's not. They don't have the knowledge. And sometimes, if they want to do that, I would recommend them to send their workers to get certified or to get some classes about mold or drying, and that will help a lot.
So it's not just about drying. You have to fix the problem, why the mold occurred in the first
Yeah,
place. Right?
exactly. You have to find out when you are already in a situation that the mold is present. You need to find, the first thing you need to find out is what the source. Why is mold in this property? Why? Where it came from? If there is something, when you have mold, is not something that just should be there. It gotta be something. Something is wrong, and it's many times is because there was a water intrusion from somewhere, and few times is because AC units, like in the crowded space, like the one I said, and how a place is being. Another problem that I find out, and I think managers need to educate their tenant. You know, I've been in places that there is mold, but I don't know, there is no leak. There haven't been a leak anywhere. Why? What's the source? Why is mold here? So then I start talking with the tenants. Do you? I can see that your AC is off. Why is that? Is it not working? Oh no, they say I keep it off most of the time. I don't use it because I don't want to pay too much money. And so I said, but that's the reason why you have more, because every house, every place needs air to be moving around. And if the tenant don't use or don't turn on their AC unit, what happening is they are creating a humid area that the air is just basically sitting there. And so a lot of people like telling, no, you have to keep your AC unit on, because that was intended to work as a dehumidifier for that building. That's why when you see a house that is being abandoned or that people is not living and everything is shut off, most of the time those houses in 3 months get mold, because there is no air flowing around. And so I telling you, you need to at least use it. Maybe not if you don't want to use it all the time, but you have to use it at some point, at least sometime in the day. And that's a big problem. A lot of people do not use their AC unit, or in the winter they don't use the heat to try to save money.
Okay. I'll call them when I get back upstairs. All right. Sounds good. Okay. Thank
Go ahead. Okay. The next question is there anything we can do during the winter months to prevent mold from spreading or in finding it?
Well, the only thing that we can do is, like I said, the winter we need to have, the heat on, make sure the gutter system are working properly. A lot of the time, also water comes inside the unit or a building because the gutters are clogged with leaves, debris, and we don't know that. A lot of places that I go and find out where the water came from. Well, your gutters are completely clogged. When it rains, they overflow, and then now through the window, that where the water was coming. And so, just kind of, my recommendation will be have your gutter system, check and clean, at least 3 times in the year. That will help a lot because a lot of times is to that situation. And then just being looking for any water intrusion, for any leaks that you may have. Sometimes toilets, there is a small drip or a kitchen, somewhere there is water, problem. And the best is just to be looking. And if you do find a leak, a water leak problem, you need to take care and dry it properly, because if you don't dry it properly, with time that will become more.
Okay. Santos, would you share your email address? Is it info@warriorsconstructiongroup.com?
Yes,
Okay, I'll go ahead and just put that in the chat.
please. This is new for me. I apologize. This virtual stuff. I'm really good to do more remediation and hands-on.
Okay, and Warriors Construction Group is in the exhibit hall, so make sure you stop by and talk with their booth staff today. And also there's other companies. The question earlier about warning whether there was a water leak. VA Control Group is in the exhibit hall, and they may be able to help you with that type of system to warn of a leak. There may be others, but that one comes to my mind, to the top of my mind. But please stop by the Warriors Construction Group booth in the exhibit hall. And
Yes, we have nice videos. We have really good videos in our booth that you guys can see exactly what we do. Beside mold remediation, we do roofing. Like I said, we have a video of roofing, or actually, the actual job getting done in gutters. And there are other videos that you will be able to really see what warrior construction is about and how we can help you.
Okay, that's great. Does anybody else have any questions? You can go ahead and put your mic on and ask, or you can add your question to the chat if you'd like. This is really an important conversation, and definitely something that you need to be on the lookout. I think if you do residential, I think I might be calling you Santos, because we have a little problem
Yes,
in our
we
basement.
do a lot. We do a lot of residential. Yes.
Yeah, so unless there's any other questions, we'll call it a day in the demo room here. Please do visit the exhibitors today, particularly Warriors Construction Group. Find out what you need to do to get your properties ready for the winter time. And
Gutters clean, gutters. Now is the time. We need to get those buildings clean. Well, as we do that, we do also the surface gutter cleaning. So we actually do a lot in the metropolitan area. We have a lot of buildings. We already are doing this process because now, it's the right time. The leaves are coming down, and gutters and downspouts will get clogged. And so then you're going to have water overflowing and you will have problems.
All right. Well, thank you very much today for presenting, Santos. I really appreciate it. And everybody, you have a great day today.
Thank you. Have a good one.